Alright, alright, alright. What is cracking, y'all? How the hell is everybody? Oh, caffeine engaged. Yes, sir. Alright, so, what is cracking? How the hell is everybody? Are you serious? Alright, there we go. Headphones are off, and let's rock. Plenty to get into. So first and foremost, we are in the RAM, and today we are going to be doing a little bit of harvesting, but we are going to be checking out a playthrough that is pretty special to me because of my nephew. My nephew begged me to do this while I was on vacation. And, well, me being the uncle that I am, I, of course, let him do it. So, that is what we are going to be doing today. We are going to check out what in the world he has been doing. We are officially on the updated version of this map. I certainly cannot get enough of this map. I know TJ has been loving it. I do want to get into TJ a little bit. Start with some things there. But other than that, there is plenty, and I mean plenty, to talk about. So it is very rare that I let this happen, but this was an exception, solely dependent on it was my nephew. So with that said, we are going to go ahead and we are going to check out what in the world he did, and yeah, we're going to go from there, and yeah, we'll see what the heck happened. I'm assuming, yeah, this is it. My goodness. So this driveway was already here, which is kind of nice, but we do got to talk about some lions. I need to get into one of my other teams, another team that I watch, because not often do I get to offer some advice. Now, again, who the hell am I? I'm just a nobody, but the thing is that what I may say actually makes sense, in the sense of I understand the mentality, I understand how they are, and we can go from there. We do need to talk about the Lions. I do want to talk about the Tigers a little bit. Other than that, not much else. I do want to talk about some Michigan and Michigan State. And look, I'm going to just shoot you straight. I am not going to. Holy hell. Ah! Nice. Okay. Okay. Not exactly what I was expecting, but alright. Nephew might have actually done a better job than me. Got the freaking toy shed. Got the gooseneck. Nice. Even got the 99 F250 up here. That is nice. So we got 2500. Got that Diamond C 40 foot. What is that? Forces? Yes, it is. Nice. We got the new home off Patreon. In the back a little bit, we got, what in the world do we got over here? We got toy shed over there. We got the main shop up here, along with the silo. Nice. Very nice. Not the house I was expecting he was going to put up here. But overall, I like the fact of being off the grid a little bit. Very nice. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and let's hop into this damn thing. As there is plenty to get into. So, with that said, do we even have a semi? I'm sure we do. We got one combine, 9870 STS. Heck yeah. Very cool. So we will be getting some toys because this is not going to be a usual little, oh shoot. Alright, bet. Nice. Look there. Killer. Alright. Nice. That's what I like. Alright, switch there. And let's go ahead. And let's get this done first. Let's get this side done first. Alright, so like I said, I want to start with TJ tonight. And it's nothing bad. It's just I do want to explain some things. And the thing is that, look, when it comes to this, it's very, very simple. TJ does not mess around. TJ does not always have time to be on. So we'll get the corn header fired up here. We'll give that a minute. And then we will go from there. But look, TJ doesn't always have time, mainly because of his job, his personal life, all those certain things. But on top of that, he takes his job very, very seriously, a lot like I do. The thing is that when he does get time, he will hop on. The thing is that obviously with football season and him doing all sorts of different things with that, kind of gets in the way of things. Now, I do not have a big problem with it because I understand it. But here's what I wanted to get with TJ in specific. TJ is more of the background guy. Now, mind you, these are his words, not mine. He told me this in specific. He doesn't really like being on the streams or the videos or anything like that because he's more the background guy. So I respect that. But the other thing is that I know TJ has got some things going on right now, and things are going to be a little bit wonky as things start to get on a little bit, as things start to progress. So the thing is that I do not want corn straw right now. But the thing is that TJ does appreciate everyone who watches. But the thing is that TJ is more of the background kind of guy. And look, I respect it. I totally understand. But the other thing is that TJ does have some personal things going on right now. So I did want to send some well wishes over to my guy TJ, as he works through that, because things are going to be a little bit wonky, and then once he gets through that, yeah, then he will hopefully be on, and he will hopefully be able, and specifically, to hop on so we can be able to do a lot more of what we want to do. But tonight, I would like to send out some free advice. And again, who the hell am I? I'm a nobody. Blah, blah, blah. However, here is the deal. I watch an unhealthy amount of football. Pro, college, etc. And I also have friends in the business that I work in. And I also have friends who are from New York. And the thing is that not only has my phone blown up since Monday night, however, the mentality, the mindset in New York is a lot different than it is here in Detroit. And, well, me personally, I like the fact when players tat it up. And what do I mean by tat it up in specifically? What I mean is that after they get embarrassed, they decide to go to social media, or they decide to hide on their little podcast and say some things when truly just come out and say it. And this brings me to the Evan Neal deal and the New York Football Giants. Now, as much as the comps are not the same, it's beginning to look a lot like MSU, Michigan State. Oh, trust me, we're going to get to them later on. However, Evan Neal speaketh, and this is what I mean when players tat it up and decide to just talk about talk. Now let me be very clear. I am not a New Yorker, but I understand the mindset. And I would just tell Evan Neal, don't let that New York media get to you too much there, big boy. This is where, in specifically, I cannot stand certain players. And the thing is that, look, you are in a town where if you eviscerate somebody in the media, or you eviscerate somebody in the sense of the fans, you are the story. And sure enough, after you got embarrassed, and I mean embarrassed, on Monday night, and it was a complete meltdown, you decided that on Wednesday you had a lot to say. I don't really know why you wanted to wait until Wednesday to say this, but however, it is the fact of that you want to start out like Johnny Hard Guy. Of, well, why would a lion concern himself with the opinion of sheep? You mean to tell me you're a lion? Interesting. Then, of course, you decide that, well, that wasn't enough for you. You had to go at fans. Oh, well, what do? Flip hot dogs and hamburgers? Interesting comment, nonetheless. And the thing is that you have been in the league 2 years now. This dude seems like a loser, in my opinion. And the thing is that in that 2 years, your play has been absolutely trash. But hey, I have a great idea. Let me go with the fans, because people on social media are getting to me. Do me a favor, buddy. Do me a favor. Do me this one solid. Get off your phone, learn how to block, and leave social media. See, this is the problem. And look, I'm not going to stick up for the fans who are going to be saying other terms. However, when a player fires back, all you're doing is letting the fans win. Why? Why? Because they're getting to you on social media? All because of the fact that, I don't know, you got embarrassed on Monday night? At the end of the day, you're making millions. And no, I'm not going to have the attitude of shut up and play ball. No. No, this idea that you are going to get embarrassed, in a sense, on Monday Night Football, on national television, everyone can see your play. Everyone can see your quarterback's play. This team blows. And you know what the problem is? Like, I think if you're a Giants fan, I think you knew you were going to take a step back this year. Now, is it fair for certain questions to arrive? Of course. Of course it is. It's what we do. It's our job. Because our job is to ask the questions to get you guys to call in. The entire point being is that very, very simply, what I don't need is a player running to a podcast or running to social media because some fan is getting to you on social media. And here's the other point, and I hate to even bring this up, and I don't even want to make it this, but unfortunately, I have to. Is like, for instance, why the F do we have doctors on social media? Why? Why do we have anybody in the government on social media? Like, do you see where this is going? And look, I'll just go ahead and tell you. Yeah, I think social media is nothing more than a cesspool of idiocy. Because the thing is like, for instance, we had a story out here this past week. There was a freshman, a young man, who lost a football game on the last play, and that night he took his life. Why? Because people did nothing more than ridicule this young man, who was nothing more than a freshman in high school. I try to stay out of this, and I try not to bring this here. But the thing is that I can't help but be honest. I can't help but be who the F I am. What the F am I looking at? I've got Evan Neal talking about an offensive tackle for the New York Football Giants, talking about I'm a lion. Okay, well, let me put on the tape. Oh, wait. Your team is 1-3, and yet there are people in this world who are doing what you said, flipping burgers, just to get by, because they're happy they have a job. And yet, I gotta listen to you talk about being a lion. If you want to talk about you're a lion, here's the deal. If you are going to make that comment and you're going to put that specific title to you, that lions don't care about the opinion of sheep, then you better own that. There is no other way around it. You have to own that. But here's the problem. All you're doing is you are letting the New York Giants fan base get to you because of social media. I laugh when I see this stuff, because here is the other problem, and this is where I will criticize the fan base. And it is rare I do this. However, why do we have fans going at players on social media? As I said before, why do we have doctors, surgeons, very smart people, the people who went to college for 4 freaking years, 8 years, 12 years, whatever it may be, the people who we are supposed to believe is smart, they are on social media. Then on top of that, why is our president on social media. Like, I hate social media. It's ridiculous. I do not need to know that our president is on social media. It is the same thing with fans going at players. The Giants got embarrassed on Sunday night. And if you are a Lions fan, miss me with, well, trying to explain the loss to Seattle. You lost the game. I do not want to hear about it. But very, very simply, do not talk to me about, oh, I'm a lion. Oh, lions don't compete with sheep. They don't let the opinions of sheep matter. Well, clearly you do, Evan, because otherwise you wouldn't have made the comment. Period. This idea of where we are today, to me, I'll be quite honest with you, is where the hell we all went wrong. But honestly, scroll through your feed right now and find me one positive thing. It's despicable. It's ridiculous. It is unbelievable. If you're going to talk about the fact that, oh, I'm not going to let the fans get to me. Oh, well, they're flipping burgers. Oh, well, they're doing this. Oh, well, they're doing that. Blah, blah, blah. Miss me with lions don't compete with sheep. Lions don't concern themselves with sheep. Any variation of that message, because all you are doing is letting those fans, in particular Giant fans, win. If you were not concerned with them at all, then you wouldn't have made the comment. And very, very simply, no, it does not excuse the action of the fans, because of the fact I see it all the time. Talking about the fact, well, they make too much money. Oh, well, they do this. Oh, well, they do that. And a lot of other heinous things that I'm not even going to bring up because it's already on there. The entire point being is that if you are truly what you say you are, in the fact of that you are a lion, lions don't compete with sheep. Lions don't concern themselves with the opinion of sheep. Whatever the hell it may be, then you wouldn't have made the comment. Because lions, they walk through the jungle like they don't care who the king is. They are the king of the jungle. Very, very simply. Now, going at the fans, the whole deal, that is where I'm going to back up the fans. Because I would love to see Evan Neal say this to somebody who just has this job to make ends meet. Should we go down that road? Oh, everything rising, all of a sudden COVID's back, prices of gas are through the roof, everything is on the rise, and the thing is, is that there are people out there who are, New York Giant fans or Jet fans or whatever kind of fan who do flip burgers. Just to make ends meet. So if you're going to talk about this, this tough game, and you're going to be Johnny Hard Guy, then okay, then let's do that. Let's find the father of two. Better yet, let's find the mother of two who is working at, let's just say, Wendy's or Culver's or McDonald's to make ends meet. I'd love to see Evan Neal say that to that person. Now again, he was talking to everybody who flips burgers. The entire point is, lions don't care about opinions. Lions walk through the jungle as the king. They don't care who the king is. They walk through the jungle as the king, and nothing bothers them. And that's the whole point. This whole idea of making this comment, to me, is just telling these fans are getting to you. You are in a market where you have so much exposure, and very, very simply, there is a standard that has to be met as a New York Giant, a New York Jet, a New York Met, a New York Yankee. There is a standard for each of those franchises. And guess what happens when those are not met? You get eviscerated. I hear all these people trying to defend the Giants. Oh, bad O-line problems. Well, then you know what? You know who that's on? It's on the coach and the GM. And don't think for 1 second that if this was happening here with the Lions, I would come on here and not say the same damn thing. I think the questions about Brian Daboll being a one-year wonder are absolutely valid. I think the questions about Joe Shane and his draft ability are absolutely valid. The fact of that Daniel Jones is making $46 million. If you are a New York Giant fan, here is my advice to you. Daniel Jones is not the guy. Daniel Jones is not the guy. And me being a Detroiter, I have to also offer you this. And to me, this is where I see this heading. I see this heading into the fact specifically of a massive, massive rebuild. And very, very simply, as a Detroiter who was there for the 2019 year, who was there for all of the years back in the 2000s, where it seemed as if every other year there was changes within the organization. There was changes with the coaching staff. There was rebuild after rebuild after rebuild. And I mentioned 2019 specifically because of one reason and one reason only. Because we only had Michigan and Michigan State at that time. We had our two college teams. Why? Because our four pro teams were all rebuilding at the same time. Now, I can get into the Yankees. The Yankees are my pet baseball team. The thing is, I expect a huge offseason for the Yankees. The Mets, on the other hand, I am very, very concerned about. The things that I have read, the things that I have heard about this David Stearns. I gotta be honest. If I am a Mets fan, which I don't like the Mets, I would be highly, highly concerned. I don't even think the guy is a real Mets fan. I really don't. But here is my friendly, free advice to you. It is the same advice that I would offer you as a Michigan State fan. Now, however, the only difference with Michigan State is that I think you have reached a pivotal point in your university. And I mean that as a whole. You know, I hear about this whole audit deal with the Yankees. Here is the deal. This idea that I am going to hear that, I mean, I've already heard Spartan fans lowering the bar. I have already seen some of the most ridiculous lists on who to hire as their next head football coach. Tom Izzo is now involved. If you do not get this hire right, you will become Indiana. Period. Now, back to New York. For the Yankees, if you, to me, this franchise has lost the standard of what it is to be in the pinstripes. And as far as the Mets, it is an absolute clown car. As I said, this new hire, I could not believe my eyes when I was listening to this interview with the new guy. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. took probably, and I know I'm probably, you know, exaggerating a little bit here, but it took like 20 minutes for this guy to answer the freaking easiest question ever. Here is the deal. My free advice to you is very, very simple. The New York mindset is entrenched in a standard of who the Yankees used to be in being World Series champions. The Giants being Super Bowl champions. The Giants, in my opinion, are absolutely, I believe, headed for some very, very dark days. I truly, truly believe that. You have got a wild card in Kayvon Thibodeau. You have got Evan Neal talking. You've got everything from Monday night. You've got a QB who has no clue, and I mean no clue, what he is doing. And I have already told you, Daniel Jones is not the guy. The thing is, very, very simply, you should be able, this town has to get back to the standard. There is a standard. Like if I asked you right now, what is the standard to being a New York football Giant or Jet? You know, you've got this wild story with Pete Alonso. Honestly, go ahead, tell me. What is the standard to being a New York football Giant? Because I'll tell you what, it ain't Evan Neal. It ain't Kayvon Thibodeau. It ain't Danny Dimes. Danny Pennies. Honestly. But here's the advice. Okay? My free, friendly advice would be find something else to do. Now, I know New Yorkers can't do that. But however, here's the deal. Like, honestly, find something else to do. Find better things to do than waste your time. Because I truly believe you will reach a point where you become honestly spiteful against your team. And here's where I lead into that. I lead into Michigan State. Listening to the morning show today, I will be quite honest with you. I never in my life as an adult have ever laughed so hard that I wanted to honestly pee myself. Listening to the pathetic, weak, unintelligent, boring ass takes from guys who went to the school up the road in Ann Arbor. Now here's the deal. Oh, trust me, Michigan fans, I'm going to get to you because we got some juicy stuff to talk about there. However, here is the deal. When it comes to doing this job, when it comes to talking about certain teams, you can never, and I mean ever, put your bias into a conversation. And I try my hardest not to. That has been my number one rule since I got my day job. And I listened to guys who went to U of M, and basically it was nothing more than a chuckle hour. And I gotta be honest with you, I honestly thought the morning show was drinking or had smoked a doobie before coming into the office today. Because very, very simply, I think fans have enough brain to realize when a take is unintelligent, boring, lazy, weak, and really just flat out a straw man argument. Some of these lists that are out there, which you guys can go and look at, very, very simply, are lazy, are pathetic, are weak, are boring. And that is really where I get into, I have friends who were Spartans, and honestly, it's just like, well, honestly, they were friends because I've gotten rid of them. Now, this idea of lowering the bar, this idea of, oh my God, we have to play it safe because we're coming out of a scandal. No, you don't have to do that. So here's my question. And if you are a part of the first segment here with New York sports, join in on the conversation. Go big or stay safe. Like, that's the thing I love about New York sports. Is because when a team goes safe, and when a team does something that's the epitome of laziness, they get absolutely bludgeoned for it. And if you're a Spartan, I want to hear from you too. Go big or stay safe. Because to me, I think you have to go big. I think you have to go big because otherwise you're going to become Indiana. And you know what? MSU is better than that. Because, yeah, I can sit here and I can tell you, yeah, they're a top 20 school. But the thing is that you see where the sport is going. Like, straight up. Like, at the end of the day. And I just, to me, if I am a Spartan, the season's over. The season is over. Michigan is going to hang damn near 100 on this team. And quite frankly, I hope they do. I honestly hope Michigan hangs 100 on this team so it can all just burn. So the people who are donors up there, because here's the thing, and I'm going to make this full circle. Sometimes in sports, you see your team, get embarrassed. And get embarrassed to a point where, in essence, they need an absolute reality check. And to me, that is where, quite frankly, a lot of teams are. The Yankees, I think, need a reality check. The Spartans need a reality check. The Mets need a reality check. I'll give you one of the hometown teams. There's two in my opinion. It's the Red Wings and it's the Pistons. Both need reality checks. There isn't this endless run of leeway. And very, very simply, this equates to life too. Sometimes in life, We need reality checks. My thing being is very, very simply, with everything going on and taking the entire body of work, my friendly advice to you is straight up. You have better things to do. Very, very simply. So there is your free advice. Let's go ahead and let's get into this FS deal, because it is very simply the reason why I made this damn page. Elma, Missouri is released, and very simply, that will be sometime possibly Friday, if not over the weekend. We are going to hop up on that map and take a little break from here and give us something new to check out, as we have done a full reset on mods, all sorts of different things. We have put forth quite an effort to fix some things, along with try to get better. On top of that, during vacation, my kitchen sink went out. Yeah, not fun that had to get replaced. However, very, very simply, the microphone is still in the works. However, I want to start with Mac Trucker 921. And honestly, it's a pretty simple question as to where do we draw the line. Now let me be very clear. I know the line is never going to get drawn, because very, very simple, people are not going to come together. However, it is the very extent as to why I created this page. And I wanted to talk about this because I've had people send this to me. I've had people send me stuff that people have, done with DR and all sorts of things. But this one has happened enough times, in my opinion, that at some point or another, we need to draw the line, and I'm going to give you a certain take that not many people are going to like. And quite frankly, DG AF. Okay. So as I was trying to say before I saved it, I'm going to give a certain take on this that not many people are going to like, but DGAF. With that said, give me a moment, and then we're going to talk about this. Okay, so I've seen this happen to quite a few of the modders, and I'll just go ahead and tell you straight up, we need a better system. We need something that is a lot clearer, and quite frankly, we need certain people to step in, or a certain person to step in. So, basically, Troll needed to be banned because he was making more accounts just to keep the fight going. Not that I need to explain my actions, but repeatedly called a liar and accused of caving. Here's the conversation with ModHub. And basically goes on to talk about the fact of the Reaper Combine. Here's the thing. We need a better system, period. We need a better system where, in my opinion, the modders' accounts, right, who upload to the in-game ModHub are verified to a point where they actually know, they being giants, actually know without a doubt that very, very simply, it is the modder without question. Now, I know that's going to take a lot, but here's the deal. And I've been saying this for quite a few years now. To me, we have one of two options. A, we have an option that the bigger fellas, and we all know who they are going to make a stance that they are either with modders or they are not. Now, probably 99%, if not out of 100% of the people that are the, quote, bigger fellas are probably, without a doubt, going to side with the modders. Now, as far as it goes, when it comes to this, the problem is that will these guys step in and be basically the czar of FS? Or, option B, we would end up finding somebody who understands not only what needs to be done to make this game better, but on top of that, also understands the people who understands all the certain groups. Again, another czar of FS. And what I mean by that is that this person would understand what it's going to take to make this game go next level. That by year 2 of Farming Simulator 22, there would be some type of teaser for the next iteration of the game with many improvements. The thing is that this person is also going to have the task at hand of there are many different aspects to the game. And everybody is going to want different things. Whether it's Euro specs, whether it's Australian specs, US spec, even the fact of, let's just say, certain tractors, certain planters, certain seeders, certain combines, etc. This person would step in and would be that guy or lady, would be that top dog. And very, very simply, to me, this person would have to be unbiased, most of all. But on top of that, would also have to get into the fact of that there are many different groups when it comes to this game. And what I mean by that is honestly what I just said. The problem is that the social media aspect of this is going to continue to be there. It's always going to be there. And whether you are somebody who's just trying to play the game and enjoy it, whether you are a content creator or a modder or whoever, very, very freaking simply, you are going to have these trolls. The thing is that I saw while I was on vacation, there has already been a petition started for FS. And I will go ahead and tell you guys right here, right now, farming and bullshit, farming and BS, farm boys bet, we stand behind that petition. As I said before, I can't help but be honest with you guys. The petition in itself makes so much sense that that's where I believe the quote bigger fellas or the FS czar would honestly need to step in. And I don't mean that lightly. I mean that very, very simply because of where we are at. Because simply this would be something that I do think many people can and will get behind, specifically because of it is going to take the game to the next level, and it's going to make the game better for all of us. Now, I don't subscribe to this whole war of, oh, well, PC's better than console. I don't subscribe to that. I never have, and I never will. We're not doing that. If you enjoy FS, then enjoy it. Whether it's on your phone, whether it's on a gaming computer, whether it is whether it's console, PC, phone, tablet, whatever, enjoy it. And I'm being serious. Enjoy that. Because very, very simply, we welcome everybody here. Okay, so let me see if we can find out this post here. Just because I want to have the information for you guys, and I will link that petition after tonight's stream. Game stuff, Lions. Come on now. I also need to talk about Jared Goff going at Ryan Fitzpatrick, which I absolutely loved. Lions versus Packers, which we're going to get into here in just a moment. Aha! Here we go. Okay. Giants must change the development focus of Farming Simulator, optimization, and game engine. So let's see here. Okay, here we go. This is a petition to show and request from Giants they must change and reconsider their ways of development of Farming Simulator to improve game engine in areas for increased realism, particularly through the optimization of Farming Simulator. While Giants puts large efforts into vehicle and brand-based DLCs, this petition is to encourage Giants to also put a focus on optimizing the performance of Farming Simulator, particularly in the FPS and lag, given the amount of logs, the amount of vehicles, amount of map objects, better optimized physics, map sizes, and all of the aspects in a more optimized multiplayer as well. This would allow to simulate a more realistically scaled experience if everything would be more optimized, resulting in everything being capable to be bigger for each player's desires. More examples of denser forest with more trees, larger maps, larger and stronger multiplayer servers, ability to have more vehicles in one place, ability to have more bales, piles, etc. We firmly believe that if the aspects were optimized, possibilities would be nearly endless, as modders could create bigger things if the game engine was capable, and so people can turn Farming Simulator into a stable and enjoyable, massively multiplayer experience with many more dedicated servers and communities would be so much smoother and optimized for players who especially have the hardware to do so. The game must allow for things such as multi-core processing, so all players can benefit from their hardware's potential. This petition is to spread the word and show Giant Software that there is indeed a large enough fan base who would show interest in these type of improvements for the game more than constant DLCs, and to hopefully have Giant Software improve on these areas of the game that many of us long-term players have wanted for many, many years. There's plenty more that it goes into. I mean, talking about maps. I mean, going back to FS13, FS15. I mean, it's very, very cool as far as everything that Colton has put into this, and I gotta be honest with you, it's real, it's raw, and quite frankly, it's honestly real as F. And there is a lot, and I mean a lot, of different ideas in this petition that make way too much sense for this game, not just to be more realistic, but to also be way more, way to take this game to entirely the next level. So I will get that link for you guys, and we are going to, I'll tell you right now, we back this petition 100%. So we are absolutely going to share this. It will be in the description. I'm going to put it in the comments as well. I will say that again. I'm going to put it in the description so you guys can click the link in the description. Along with, I am also going to link it in the comments below. And so you guys can and will be able to finally be able to sign that petition. They are up to 793 signatures. We absolutely must sign this. Alright. So, then we had the stuff with Roughneck. Apparently a 24 Super Duty. Let me keep looking here, because there was also something about the effect of leaking and all that kind of stuff. Now, when it comes to it, look, I think the leaking in itself was very, very simply I think all the leaking stuff, I think it's stupid, quite frankly. And I gotta be honest with you, I back the modders on this. And I'll tell you who you can blame. You can blame the leakers, because the leakers are the reason why many of the modders have went to Patreon. And I truly believe that. And I think there's many other sites out there. Of why the modders have went there. Alright, so let's hop into the Lions. Because, as crazy as it sounds, we have hit the quarter point of the season. And so, what do you think you know about this team? I don't think anybody can be mad with a 3-1 start. I know I'm not. Because you still got a chance to be 5-3 at the bye. And that is my expectation. 5-3 at the bye. And we are talking by that bye week. Now, is that after or beforehand? I think it is. Yeah, it's going to be after. So it'll be after the Monday night game. Now, very, very simply, I will just go ahead and tell you that I have already said one of my expectations for this team this year is that you are going to give your fan base, your customer base, something to talk about during the bye week. The bye week is also when the trade deadline happens. To me, I told you, this team better be active at the trade deadline. I don't want any excuses. There is no excuses. It is straight up. This team must be active at the trade deadline. They must be pushing for a playoff run, and they must be adding to this team. I have sat here for years, and this team has said, nah, not going to, not the right time, blah, blah, blah. One of my biggest expectations, as I said, and it is on film, or on, here, is that this team must acquire at the trade deadline. Very, very simply, as we are now through 4 weeks into the season, what in H-E-double-L hell do you think you know about this team? Here is a few of mine. I think this team has a top 5 offense. I think this team, whenever something doesn't go their way, they're not the Lions of old. And what I mean by that is that this team does not get rattled like older teams. Even when there is questionable BS going on. Like the Kansas City game. Like the Green Bay game. Like the Seattle game. This team will overcome. This damn team will overcome. This team is resilient. And this team follows the motto of their head coach, the enema, the charismaticness of their head coach. This team is gutty. This team is... Let's get us a Lucky Lipper in while we get to the backside of the farm. A little bit of that outlaw, dude. Freaking mint. It's freaking beautiful. Alright, so, as I was saying, this team will overcome. This team embodies what the coach is. This team embodies what the GM is. It is a tall tale sign that the culture of this team has changed. The culture within inside the organization. Not just because of your head coach and your GM either. No, because of three former players. Chris Spielman, Calvin Johnson, and many people's favorites, Barry freaking Sanders. Being a part of that, being a part of this organization, on top of that, I think Jared Goff is playing some of his best ball. Take a look at the last 3 weeks. Him throwing an interception. What does Jared Goff do? Jared Goff leads the team back down the field for a touchdown drive. And I believe it was Cookies who made this point. And very, very simply, he's absolutely right. It is the fact of that the story of Jared Goff is by far and away, as I'm not paying attention and run into a tree, the story of Jared Goff is resilience. And very simply, Jared has found a team that he can call his own. Jared has found a head coach and a GM who believes in him. And an owner who adores him. An owner who loves herself some JG16. Here's the next one. Jamal who? David Montgomery is an absolute beast for this team. I had somebody come up to me when I was on vacation, and I was at the casino with my family, and I'm not going to say which casino, but I was there with the family, and very, very simply, I had my Lions shirt on. And in a million years, not one person would ever come up to me and say this. And it could have been a security guard. It could have been just a normal person. It could have even been a worker at the casino. Every single step that I took, all I could hear that Sunday was, "Go Lions." Then on top of that, the place erupted when Aiden Hutchinson basically flatlined Desmond Ridder. I mean, that place erupted. Mind you, we are talking about a casino. I can only imagine how Ford Field was. This team, here's the next point from me. This team is living up to the hype. This team is living up to the hype of this year. This team is showing you this team is different. This coaching staff is different. These players are different. And let me tell you this, because I think this one is the most shocking. Well, actually, I have two. I have two that are shocking. And you can call me wild. You can tell me that I'm on Quaaludes. Whatever you gotta do. But I believe it. First and foremost, your run defense is for real. And secondly, you have probably one of the funnest battles on your team that nobody was talking about in training camp, because it's between two rookies, and one of them is looking like a top guy in this league. A top 5. I could even make the argument of top 4 in this league right here, right now. Sam Laporta is an absolute stud. Sam Laporta is a stud. I freaking love this kid. I watched the Packer game. Or not the Packer game, the Falcons game. This kid is wide open. Downfield. A tight end. When was the last time you can sit here as a Lions fan and tell me that you had a kid like this. This kid is a difference maker. You know who the other one is? It's the one you stole from Green Bay because you traded up and Brad Holmes said, "Give me the effing pick." It is Brian Branch. I will tell you right here, right now, that battle is a battle I am looking forward to seeing. Brian Branch versus Sam Laporta. Guys, you're seeing star power on this team. I have one more for you. Now, this one I cannot take credit for because a caller brought this up. But I'll tell you right here, right now, if this team does what we believe they are going to do, and they win a home playoff game, let me tell you something. It will be the first time ever in franchise freaking history you will be replacing two guys at the end of the season. Now, let me be very, very clear. The accomplishment has to get done first. This team has the number one rushing defense in the National Football League. If that continues, next year, you will be replacing Aaron Glenn as your defensive coordinator because he will be up for a head coaching job. The next one, if you are a Lions fan, should be very, very simple. It is the fact of our guy, Ben Johnson. If Ben Johnson keeps this offense moving and grooving like they have, you will also be replacing Ben Johnson in 24. Now, the accomplishment has to be done first before that can happen. But I will tell you right here, right now, if this defense comes out and continues to look hungry, continues to look like they are starving, I can see it happening. If Ben Johnson can keep this offense top 5, I'll tell you right now, you will be replacing both of your coordinators next year. And you know what? That's a good problem to have because that's what good teams do. You want to talk about a monumental year in Lions history, it is this effing year. It is this year. Now, I want to know, what do you think you know about this football team? Through the 4 weeks that you have seen this team play, what do you think you know about this team? the first half of that Packer game was incredible. It was incredible. That was what you call a business trip. You went into Lambeau and you made a damn statement. And I'll tell you this, I loved the fact that Jared Goff was thrown shade in pregame and JG16 clapped right back in the postgame. This man is a leader. This man has found a home. This man has made this team his. And I will tell you this. If you are a Lions fan, I know that we like to get ahead of ourselves. And I know we like to think, well, what are we going to do if we have to pay Aiden and Panay Sewell? We'll get there. But I have a question for you about our guy, JG16. I want to know, in specifically, one thing. Now, I cannot tell you if an extension is on the table because I have no idea. However, work with me and let's just say that it is on the table and we extend JG16. I will tell you there is one thing that I would expect in 2024 from Lion fan. Specifically, the ones who got fooled. And what I mean by that is the ones who ran out to say, well, he's just a Band-Aid. If an extension is on the table, here is my expectation. And I want to know if I have just completely lost it. That home game, the opening home game, whoever it is against, in 2024, if the accomplishment is made this year, and you win a home playoff game, or you win a playoff game of any sort, my expectation is that it will be the loudest home game ever at Ford Field. And JG16 will get the Trey Turner treatment. I didn't even want to bring this up, but I told TJ, if that is the case, then you know what? There is nobody else on this roster who deserves it more than JG16. Jared Goff has worked his butt off and is a sole reason for this team's turnaround. I remember sitting back in the first year, and I was listening to Middays, and they were doing the Jared Goff interview. And this dude was so uncomfortable. It was the same questions over and over and over again. Every Tuesday, every Wednesday. Jared Goff is one of the leaders of this team. My expectation, very, very simply from Lion fan, if we stick with this guy, if there is a extension on the table, there is nobody on this roster that deserves the Trey Turner treatment more than JG16. A standing ovation, the loudest home game ever at Ford Field. I am talking about we are blowing the roof off the place. We are talking about blowing people's ears out. This man, his story is resilience. This team's story is resilience. And to me, there is nobody who deserves it more than Jared Goff. As I said, the first year of Dan Campbell, when they went 3-13, Jared was so uncomfortable during those interviews. Now these interviews are so much fun to listen to. And to me, it gives every single reason as to why Lion fans should be excited for this year, because it is the most pivotal year in franchise history. You want to talk about never being there before? You want to talk about a franchise-altering year for this franchise in itself? It is this year. And look, Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell, AG, Barry, Calvin, they all deserve their credit. But to me, if the accomplishment is made this year, and we get to the point of an extension for Jared Goff, I can't find anybody else on this roster who deserves the Trey Turner treatment more than Jared Goff. The guy has played his off and is one of the biggest reasons for this team's turnaround. And like I said, I know the story's way back with Trey Turner. However, that lit a fire under Trey Turner. And to me, it could do the same thing for Jared Goff. Jared Goff is playing some of his best football in his career right here, right now, this year. So look, if you want to tell me I'm out of my mind, tell me. I just need reasons why. Okay. So that is your Lions conversation. Let's hop over to the Tigers for a memento. because there is quite a bit that is going on with our Detroit Tigers. And as you guys very well know, I was at the game. I posted a little bit of a video. If you guys want to check that out on the channel, it is there. I was there with the family, and it was a wonderful time. However, there is quite a stir with everything that is going on. So I'm going to fix the Tigers broadcast in a very simple manner. But first, we got to talk about our guy Harvey. Oh, Harvey! And I am hoping that he is moved this offseason because, quite frankly, I don't want him around any of my young players, quite frankly, because he is still owed $98 million. Now, we have seen the swings throughout the season, and it was one of the first videos I ever did on the channel. But here's the quote from Scott Harris, the president of baseball operations for our Detroit Tigers. Quote, "It's going to take an organizational effort in hobby." So here is the way that I take that. I take it as an insult, quite frankly, because if you're a Tiger fan, everything that is going to happen this offseason should be an expectation. An expectation in the sense that this team in particular grows the F up. And what I mean by that is that Mr. Greenberg, the other guy that Scott Harris hired, is there to chaperone Scott Harris after the debacle that we seen on trade deadline day. That Harvey is moved. And very, very simply, that this has to be an off season, because I will already tell you the expectation for 2024 for our Detroit Tigers is AL Central champs, winning the division. Very, very simply, I have already came on here and talked about the one I call Scoobs, aka Tariq Skubal. If Erod leaves, Skubal becomes your number one ace. What we seen from Tariq Skubal this year was incredible. And I don't apologize for it, quite frankly. The guy was lights out when he stepped on the mound. And for me, he is your number one ace. I still have a lot of mixed feelings on Alex Lang and Jason Foley. But very, very simply, the expectation should be in 2024, the Tigers are competing for the postseason. You are the AL Central champs. Now, as far as Cabrera moving to the front office, I don't necessarily know how much of an impact that is going to have. Now, I can sit here and I can talk to you about the fact that he was the greatest hitter of a generation. Now, very, very simply, I'm not going to get emotional like some people did on Monday. But however, that is going to be interesting in itself. Then on top of that, what about Chris Fetter? What about AJ Hinch? There has to be an organizational design, because when Scott Harris got here, Scott Harris talked about commanding the strike zone. Well, let me be very, very clear on this. Here's the deal. Harvey does not command the strike zone. I need to see another year like this year from Spencer Torkelson, which I would also like to ask, when are we going to have the Spencer Torkelson conversation? 31 homers. Now, I will be very, very clear with you. I talked about the fact of that, you know what, with this year and Torque struggling, that maybe it was time to send him down. Somehow, some way, Spencer Torkelson figured it out. Get torqued. I need to see another year out of that from Spencer Torkelson. Because I will tell you, if Spencer Torkelson does another year of that, guys, he's going to be a rock solid piece to this roster. Riley Green, the same thing. And as far as it goes, this team better be active at the winter meetings. This team has to be. Because here's the deal, right? When you talk about summertime and you talk about the fact of the Tigers, this town loves their Tigers. This town is always ready when it comes time for opening day, when it comes time for Tiger baseball. Now, of course, it does take time away from the show, but at the same time, everybody's got to, do their little bit of a hustle. However, to me, this team, if this team gets active, and Scott Harris is the guy that we think he is, guys, I'll tell you right now, my expectation for this team is that we're coming on here and we're not talking Lions, training camp. Now, we may do an hour of it. We may do 30 minutes of it. We may even do a segment on it. But my expectation is that we are battling for a postseason spot, and we are talking about the fact of that we are ready to take over the Central. That we are going to absolutely win this division, and by October, yeah, we're talking Lions, we're talking Michigan, we're talking Michigan State, but at the same time, those get decreased into certain segments. But by October, we're talking about, okay, we're talking about a postseason chase. We're talking about a pennant chase for this team. Why? Because it's fun. Because when this team is winning, this city freaking cares. And this city puts their passion behind it and absolutely gets behind this team. That's where I'm at. Now, let's talk about Eduardo Rodriguez. This has been one of the more wilder stories in, quite frankly, any time that I can remember since what happened to me regarding our Detroit Tigers. Now, there has been different reporting from different people. Well, Erod doesn't know what he wants to do, and Erod doesn't really have any control, which he does. It's been one of the more wilder stories regarding this team. As I have already told you, if Erod walks, you have a starter, you have an ace in Tariq Skubal. But I don't know what to make of this story because let me get the actual date for you. This would be that stuff. Don't really care about that. Okay, that's great. Don't really care. Don't really care about that. All the Miggy stuff. Calvin Johnson, Roman Wilson, which, by the way, that's Catch of the Year candidate. I don't care what anybody says. Okay, so this was 5 days ago. And look, if there's anybody that I'm going to trust, it is WXYZ's own Mr. Brad Galley. Eduardo Rodriguez is expected to opt out of his Tigers contract with $49 million and 3 years to go. So here's the deal. As I said, I don't really know what to make of this story regarding Eduardo Rodriguez. Now, I told you, coming out of the trade deadline, it sure seemed like, from people that I talked to, all the certain things that we talked about on here, etc., that it sure seemed like Eduardo wanted to be here. Since then, I don't get that sense. I really don't. And that's really where, if this is true, then you know what? Get out. That's really about where I'm at with this story. A large postage stamp right on your forehead, along with Harvey, and get out. Now, I think you're going to have to acquire another arm, no doubt. But to me, very, very simply, if that is the case, that he opts out of his contract, then very, very simply, what did we go through all of this for then? And if you're going to talk about that you don't have any leverage, you're the player. You do have the leverage. Now, I don't know that you're going to get more than $49 million. I really don't. But the thing is that, like I said, large postage stamp right on your forehead and get out. Unless my eyes are deceiving me, as I've already said a couple of times now, I'm looking at Tariq Skubal as my ace. So I find it very, very interesting as to where this story is going to go, because there's been conflicting reports since this reporting by Brad Galley. Okay, let's hop over to U of M. Because, well, first of all, let me fix the Tigers broadcast, and then we're going to hop over to U of M. Here's the deal. I'm going to fix the Tigers broadcast in a manner that is very, very simple, yet effective. Because if this team does what I believe they are going to do in 24, then I will not accept, and you as a Tiger fan should not accept, low-ranked, bottom-rung garbage. Now, of course, that's what Bally is, but very, very simply, we got word that Matt Shepard is out. Bring back Mario. Mario and either Cameron Maiden or Curtis Granderson on the broadcast, or do the simulcast and get Dapper Dan back on the broadcast with Mario, and make this broadcast matter. You know, I look back to the night that we brought up Parker Meadows. Anybody remember that night? Let's talk about that night for a minute. Parker Meadows hit a monster shot. Parker Meadows called game. Parker Meadows took the cover off of this baseball, and man, oh man, it was a night to remember. And I remember leaving the game, and I remember listening to the broadcast, and I listened to the radio broadcast. Dan is an absolute incredible broadcaster. He knows what he's doing, and he makes the radio broadcast matter. Because, as I said, when it is summertime and this team is winning and this team actually has a damn pulse, all of it, the team, the broadcast, the coaching staff, every single bit of it matters. To me, very, very simply, you have two options. And the first and only call I am making is Mario and Pemba. I am getting a real broadcast back on TV, and every chance that I get to do the simulcast of Dapper Dan and Mario and Pemba, it's happening. Now, I know Mario talked to the Freep and, I'm retired. That's great. That's great. This town wants Mario. Period. This broadcast has to matter. This team has to matter to this city. And you know what? I may be young, and I don't know who the hell's watching, but I know there is some older Tiger fans out there who would love to see Mario back in the booth, because you know why? Because that broadcast mattered. Because that broadcast not only entertained you, but brought you excitement every damn year. Period. Let's get to U of M. A little bit of juiciness here. A little bit of rumors today. And this comes after maybe the Jets should be looking at Harbaugh. A little bit of NFL rumors. President Santana is stepping in to get a contract done with Jim Harbaugh, which puts the NFL rumors to bed, and then on top of that, the game against Nebraska. Now, as I told you, very, very simply, Roman Wilson's catch was a grown man catch. To me, that is a catch of the year candidate. Period. Then on top of that, I have one team that I think you can beat, and I have another that I think you can't. But as far as Saturday's game against Nebraska, they did exactly what I wanted and a lot of Michigan fans wanted. A complete game from top to bottom. Firepower, explosive, and looking like a championship caliber team. That is what that team did, going into Nebraska and laying down the hammer. If you played on a neutral site field right here, right now, I think you're beating Georgia. And trust me, I'm not happy with Georgia either. But very, very simply, I take Michigan over Georgia. Right here, right now. The only team that I see a hell of a game out of, but I don't see them winning, is Texas. Texas, to me, is the most complete team in college football right here, right now. As I said, I think this team is going to hang 100 on MSU, and I hope they do. Because I'll tell you right here, right now, if I am a MSU donor, I want that game to happen so bad so people at Michigan State can get a reality check. And if I'm a donor, I'd pull my damn money. And I'll tell you this. If Michigan looks like this against LSU, man, oh man, I can't wait for next month. Honestly, as much as I love October, and I love the fact of postseason baseball, and bow season, and etc., and farming, I love all of it. But you know what? I want to fast forward to November so bad. I want a button, and let's just get to freaking November already. Let's see Penn State versus Michigan. Let's see Ohio State and Michigan. Because if Michigan continues to play like this team is going to the college football playoff. If this team plays complete top to bottom football like they did at Nebraska, man, oh man, is this going to be a fun season to be a Wolverine. And I'm dead serious. I want to see this team hang 100 on MSU. I want to see this team go out to Penn State at noon and take care of business. And I'll tell you the same damn thing the week of the game. It is a business trip. I think JJ is taking another step. I want to see JJ throw a little bit more. I love Corum. I think Corum is going to be an absolute one of the. He is an absolute beast. Michigan fans already know that. I'm just telling you what you already know. But I think on a neutral site field, I'm taking you over Georgia. I'm taking you over Alabama. Hell, I'd take you over LSU. The only game that I would not bet, but I would absolutely love to see, is Michigan, Texas. Because you want to talk about firepower, you want to talk about a star-lit game. I think that would be a game of the year type of candidate for absolute fireworks. Now, I don't think Michigan wins, but I absolutely would love to see that. And as far as it goes, yeah, when it comes time for Penn State, straight up, it's a business trip. You play like this, you get elevated. And that's where I'm at with Michigan. You know, earlier in the year, I think a lot of us were talking about the fact of is Harbaugh going to be there next year? You know, what NFL teams are going to be looking at Harbaugh, etc. And the thing is that, look, I applaud what Santana is doing. He's stepping in and he's getting that contract done. Very simple, get it done. And I'll tell you right here, right now, if it was me, no, I'm not leaving for the NFL. If I'm Jim Harbaugh, I'm staying right there in Michigan. So that's where I'm at. With that said, guys, that is going to do it for this evening. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, drop a like, drop a comment. Y'all know the drill. With that said, we are going to be back later this week. Probably, I'm hoping for Friday, but maybe over the weekend. We are going to be talking a lot of football. We are going to get into a Week 5 preview here in the next video. And I'll tell you right here, right now, it's a business trip. I feel the same way about the Lions. You took care of business on Thursday night. All right, let's go. You're facing the Panthers, and it's a business trip. Straight up. So that's where I'm at. So with that said, we will hopefully be on Elma, Missouri, the new map that was released today. Get a little break from here. Next week we will finally be getting into the spring on TJ's farm, and we're going to be hopping over there. I am going to do my best and get TJ on here so we can talk about the Lions, so we can talk about Michigan. I am going to get into the phony reports of Urban Meyer to MSU for a lot of reasons, quite frankly. A lot of good upcoming stuff and quite a bit to get into as we've got a lot of corn to finish here. New maps, new mods, and really anything else that goes down this week, we will be sure to cover it. So with that said, I know he's probably sleeping right now, but I do want to shout out my nephew for doing what he does and making sure everything's ready to go. Appreciate you, little man, for making sure that we had a gameplay to get into tonight. Other than that, lots to talk about, y'all. So with that said, y'all the real MVPs. Y'all know what it is. Appreciate you guys. I just seen that we just hit 31 subscribers. Holy cow. Now you guys don't know, man. I'm so appreciative of it. There is some stuff with Darren that I do want to talk about. Like I said, I'm just here to be me. I can't help but be honest. And when there's stuff I want to talk about and there's stuff that's real, that's raw, I do want to talk about it. And it is what it is, quite frankly. Sent out some free advice to my Giant fans out there, my fellow New York fans. Very, very simply, find something better to do. Otherwise, you will go insane. But with that said, guys, that's going to do it for this one. I hope y'all enjoyed it. You guys are the real MVPs, as y'all know.